Lassiter Factor.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This is your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor, and today I'm going to talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was released in theaters over the weekend. And quick side note, dear studios, can you please stop this trend of naming the title of a reboot or legacy sequel or legacy reboot, whatever? Can you just stop this trend of naming it the title of the original of whatever the franchise is? Saying I remember when you did this with Halloween 2018 by just calling it Halloween, when you could have just called it Halloween H40 since it did come out the same year of the 40th anniversary of the original movie. I made a joke about it in Scream 5, which y'all just called Scream or Scream 2022. Just called it Scream 5. Just called it Scream 5. Like, who are you for? How I feel here. You could have just called it I Know What You Did Last Summer 3. Just call it that, alright? Who you fooling? Or even better, if you really wanted to be different, you could have just called it What Did You Do Last Summer? For the sake of this review and my sanity, I'm just gonna call it What Did You Do Last Summer? So, What Did You Do Last Summer is a legacy sequel that takes place almost 3 decades after the events of I Know What You Did Last Summer. We follow a new group of kids that accidentally cause a car accident. They stay silent about it for a year until some killer in a ridiculous fisherman outfit starts killing and tormenting them, and they enlist the help of Julie and Ray, who are the returning characters from the original two movies. Now, up until recently, I just watched the first two films for the first time. You can check my review of both of those films out here on the channel. These were always movies that I always heard about, but for whatever reason, just never got around to watching up until recently. And I do know that people often compare them to the Scream movies, which this movie is taking some inspiration from because it did come out during that whole slasher era from the 90s. Most people would agree that these movies are not held in high regard in the slasher genre, but they are fun movies. At least that first movie is. These movies are mostly memorable for its cast, from Brandy, Ryan Felipe, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., and of course, Jennifer Love Hewitt, who is the star of these movies and the Scream Queen. Having seen these movies later in life, I will say, I agree, these are not held in high regard within slashers, and they are what they are. They're just fun little slasher movies that you can put on, and they are iconic in their own little way. I am aware that there was a straight to video movie, which is technically the third film, but from what I understand, it's not canon and not essential viewing for this new. Up until a few days ago, I did not know that there was a television show for this movie, and it came out in 2021. And maybe I'll watch it one day, but it doesn't seem like it's essential viewing for this new movie. So, again, moving on. We're here at What Did You Do Last Summer? Or I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. Now, how did I feel? I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Now, just like the first two movies, I don't hold it in high regard within slasher movies, but it is what it is. Just a fun time at the theater, and in terms of it being a legacy sequel, I think it does sparingly honor the original movie and also does a good job of, kind of luring in some new audience. This movie is in itself a fun little nostalgic trip, not just for the returning characters, but also for the town itself, because everything does take place in Southport, South Carolina, just like the very first movie. And then we see how the town has evolved and how they've used the history of what happened in the original movie in this film. This movie also does poke fun at not just the series, but also nostalgia itself. There's a line in the movie where somebody says nostalgia is overrated. Slight spoiler alert, but there's a moment in the movie where they even acknowledge the second movie, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. There's a moment where all the new cast members, they're talking to Freddie Prinze Jr. from the first two movies, and one of them suggests, why don't we just get out of here? Hell, we can go to the Bahamas. And then Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, Ray, he says, for reasons I won't get into, that is not a good idea. That was his way of acknowledging that movie, but also realizing how not good that movie was. For the new cast in this movie, I felt everybody played their role perfectly. Whether they're playing a carbon copy of a character from the first two movies, or they're playing a completely new character with a new character trait. Main girl, I thought she did a good job in stepping into the role that Jennifer Love Hewitt's character Julie was in the original movie. And this character right here, I'm blanking on her name, but she was kind of the new character with the new trait, and the way they used her with among all these friends, I thought it was used perfectly. And plus, I just like the murder mystery part of it, just the whodunit part of it, just trying to figure out who it possibly is. And believe me, I've learned from these movies a long time ago, like, hey, everybody's a suspect. And so I was just putting a tally in my head, trying to figure out, all right, it could be you, but you low on my list, or it could be you and you high up on my list. Just is what I come to these kinds of movies for. We have Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., who are the returning cast members from the first two movies, and I thought that they used these two characters perfectly. They integrated them perfectly, and they all had a role. And it was also just fun seeing these two together, and it just felt like we were just catching up on old friends, and also seeing how both of them together deal with the trauma from those original two movies. They both, in their own little way, did not miss a beat as these characters, but at the same time, they were also playing these characters at the age that they are. Obviously, this is not a perfect movie, but the only real gripe I have with this movie is the reveal. I just feel like the writers really didn't do a good job of illustrating how we even got to this point. I feel like once you see who the killer is, I'm not going to spoil it, but once you see who the killer is, you'll kind of feel like it's character assassination. Or maybe it'll work for you. I'm just saying it didn't entirely work for me. It just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, that's all. And that, to me, I didn't expect much from this movie, and this movie gave me exactly what I asked for. Just a fun little nostalgic trip, but also giving me a fun little slasher. Side note, my faith in humanity is temporarily restored after seeing the amount of people coming out and defending Jennifer Love Hewitt for how she looks now versus how she did 3 decades ago. All you motherfuckers out there that's commenting on how she looks now, fuck you talking about? She still looks goddamn gorgeous. To give What Did You Do Last Summer, or I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025, the shoulder shrug emoji. Just, that's it. Right in the middle. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good. It is what it is. And if you understand that going into it, you might have a good time. That's it for today. Have you seen What Did You Do Last Summer? If so, let me know what you think in the comments section below. This is your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.